After getting to work late at a publishing firm, a lady named Thea finds herself dealing with complaints from her boss, Jerry, about her regular lateness. He also tells her that he found some errors in a report she submitted a while ago. As she tries to defend herself, Jerry says the intern, Greg, was the one who spotted the errors. He also tells his secretary that if she keeps making such mistakes, someone like Greg could take her spot in the company. She says sorry and also offers to make amends in any way possible. Just then, Jerry tells her to help him clean his dog. She agrees to do it, and while she's at it, her friend Lisa comes into the restroom. Thea complains about her job, but also mentions that she can't leave because she needs the money to take care of her sister, Emma. As they keep talking, they see the dog eating a bar of soap on the floor, and Thea quickly stops him. Later that day, at a company meeting to discuss the next book they'll publish, the company's accountant, Nick, comes in late. Jerry complains about it and also announces that the accountant is having a divorce. The meeting eventually starts, and after a while, Jerry changes the subject and starts talking about the game plan for an upcoming intercompany softball game. As he's talking, Nick interrupts and says they should be talking about a unique opportunity he found. He says he met with one of their writers, Susie, and after reading her manuscript, he thinks her book is good enough to be published. However, Jerry says he's not interested in that. Shortly after, Jerry's dog falls next to him, and as he picks him up to check what's wrong, the dog pukes on him. He then looks at Thea to ask what she fed him. Later that day, Thea goes to his office to apologize for what happened to his dog. He says it's not a problem, and she can take his dog for a scheduled appointment at the hospital. Thea says she won't be available on the scheduled date because she has plans with her boyfriend, but Jerry insists, so she has no choice but to agree. She then meets Lisa in the restroom and starts complaining about her boss. Jerry walks into the restroom and hears what she's saying, including how she insults him. He goes to confront her, but Thea is left speechless. She follows him to his office to say sorry for what she said, but he says if she hates him, then they can't keep working together. He fires her on the spot, and as she begs him not to do it, she comes up with a lie and tells him that she's pregnant. Jerry instantly looks confused, and he leaves his office and heads for the legal department. Thea remains in the office, and by the time he returns, he asks when she's due. She says she's due in 6 months, and he tells her that the legal department has advised him not to fire her because of her condition. She thanks him for changing his mind, but as she leaves his office, a pregnant co-worker from the legal department named Kristen congratulates her. As they get to the lobby, the receptionist, Anne, also announces it to everyone, leaving Lisa shocked. Thea gets Lisa to join in on the lie, and she adds that her friend is also engaged. Later that day, while at a bar, the two friends discuss what happened at work. Lisa explains that she had to lie about her friend's engagement so that people don't think of her as wayward. As Thea looks worried about having to live a lie, her friend tells her to just play along for a while, after which she can announce that it was a false alarm. Thea agrees to do this before leaving for her sister's school. When she gets there, she's already late for a meeting with Emma's teacher, who has already left the school. She says sorry to Emma for her lateness, and as they get home, her sister says her teacher wants her to start taking cooking classes after school instead of tennis. Thea says it won't be possible because playing tennis will help her get a scholarship for college, but Emma doesn't like this. The next day at work, Greg stops Thea to ask why her stomach is yet to get bigger. She says she's probably just lucky, but as he tries to imply that she's lying, Lisa shows up to defend her friend and also get him to leave. At work the following day, Greg again accuses Thea of lying about her pregnancy, but Lisa shows up again. She then decides to take her friend shopping after work. As they get to the store, Lisa steals a fake pregnancy belly from one of the mannequins. Thea doesn't think it's right, but her friend says she needs to start wearing it before people start getting suspicious. After they're done shopping, Lisa hands the fake belly to Thea, who initially says she doesn't want Emma to see it. However, her friend convinces her to take it home. The next day, Thea wears the fake belly, and as she's leaving for work, her landlord looks shocked to see that she's pregnant. He congratulates her and tells her to take her time in paying the rent she currently owes. When she gets to work, Lisa looks impressed by how the fake belly now makes her friend's story believable. At a meeting that day, Jerry announces that he's taking a few weeks off to take care of his dog. As he wraps up his speech, he puts Nick in charge and tells him not to mess things up in his absence. After the meeting, Lisa and Thea start talking about a plan to put an end to the pregnancy lie. They are soon interrupted by Nick, who asks Thea if she can come with him to a meeting. She agrees, and on their way, he tells her that they're going to meet Susie about her book. He says the book is about the real challenges of pregnancy and he thinks the book would be a hit. He adds that Susie needs an extra boost to work with the company, and since Thea is pregnant, she's in a good position to help convince the writer. He also tells her to pretend to be an editor, because it's what he told Susie. During the meeting, Nick's attempts to convince Susie don't work, but as Thea starts talking about how she likes the book because it tells the truth about pregnancy, Susie looks happy and says she'll think about it. When they return to work, Thea tells Lisa that she can't keep lying about the pregnancy. However, Nick calls for her and offers her the job of an editor for the company. Thea looks shocked by this, but because it will keep her from telling the truth, she says she can't take it. He continues to convince her and says she'll get her own office and make a lot of money, but because the money could be very useful to take care of Emma, she finally accepts it. He then gives her Susie's book to review it. She takes it home, but her boyfriend, Miles, stops her from reading it. The following day, Nick asks for an update on the review, but as he hears that she has barely read the book, he leaves her office angrily. Thea realizes her mistake, and while she's thinking of what to do, Lisa comes into her new office. Before they can start talking, Greg also comes in to accuse Thea of using a fake pregnancy to get a promotion. Instead of denying it, she offers him the chance to be her secretary, and he happily agrees. She then spends the whole day reading Susie's book at work. After she's through, she meets Nick to tell him how good the book was. She also advises him on the best way to arrange the chapters. Nick is happy to see that she finished the book, and she also says sorry for not taking things seriously earlier. After the day's work, Nick and Thea get to know each other better. She realizes that Nick and Jerry are related, and the company is actually a family business. She also tells him about how she now has to take care of her sister since their parents died in an accident. Later on, Nick informs her about Susie's pool party and tells her to make sure to bring her boyfriend, Miles. The following day, while looking at what she's wearing for the party, Emma walks in, and she immediately uses a towel to cover herself so that her sister doesn't see the baby bump. She soon heads out and takes Miles to Susie's house for the party. When they get there, she introduces him to her colleagues, but he doesn't waste any time jumping into the pool. A while later, he tells her to join him in the pool, but she thinks it's a bad idea, especially in front of Nick and Susie. However, this doesn't stop him from pushing her inside the pool, leaving everyone shocked by what happened. At work the next day, Thea complains to Lisa about how embarrassed she was by what her boyfriend did. She also says she has since refused to return his calls because she's no longer interested in the relationship. She adds that she also doesn't like the fact that Nick thinks Miles is the father of her baby. Even though Lisa doesn't think she should be bothered by that, she says Nick is the only one who thinks she's actually capable of real work. Later that day, Nick invites some pregnant women for a review of Susie's book. None of them seem to be interested in it, but as Thea starts talking about the book, this makes them change their mind. Shortly after, she's informed that Emma is in the lobby waiting for her to get some papers signed for school. She immediately rushes to meet her sister while covering up her fake bump. Since Nick is also there, she hurriedly introduces Emma to him. After signing the papers, Emma sees Thea's bump and looks surprised, but her sister is able to lead her out before she causes a scene. When they get outside, Thea explains why she had to do it, but her sister still doesn't think she should have lied about such a thing. The following day, Lisa also advises Thea to come clean about the fake pregnancy. Before she can say anything, Thea sees Nick coming and immediately changes the topic. When he enters her office, she informs him about the email she received from a producer of a top show that wants to give publicity to Susie's book. He's very happy to hear this, but shortly after, Jerry calls to warn him about taking on any projects. However, Nick doesn't seem to care. Meanwhile, Thea goes to the store to steal a bigger belly, and while looking around, she also decides to buy some baby stuff. Later on, she starts working on publicity for the book with Nick, and during the shoot for the book cover, Susie suggests that she join the photo shoot. Despite initially thinking it's a bad idea, Nick and Susie convince Thea to do it. Later that day, Emma is shocked to see her sister using some vitamins meant for pregnant women. At work the following day, Thea also starts talking about pregnancy problems with Kristen. While they're at it, Nick comes in with a nose wound. Kristen excuses them, and he tells Thea that he just punched Miles in public for kissing another lady. Thea admires this and says she's no longer with Miles, and that he's not even the father of her baby. Nick is relieved to hear this, and when she says the father is no longer in her life, he tells her that there's nothing wrong with being a single mother. Lisa soon comes over to see her friend. She continues to tell Thea to confess to Nick about the fake pregnancy before it's too late, but Thea insists that there's nothing to say to him. Later that day, she heads to Emma's tennis training, but can't find her there. When she gets home, Thea accuses her sister of lying about where she goes after school. Emma says she has been working at a restaurant, but her sister doesn't look too pleased. Shortly after, Nick shows up at the house, asking to see her, and she immediately wears her fake belly before meeting him. He says he's there to show her a copy of Susie's book, and she's surprised to see herself on the cover. As he's about to leave, she asks if he would like to take a walk with her. He agrees, and later on, while they watch some children playing at the park, Nick says he would love to have children one day. Just then, Thea confesses that she likes him, and he also says the same, but they agree to take things slow. The next day, Emma calls Thea about an emergency at their house, but as she gets there, she sees that it's a surprise baby shower organized by her aunt, who just found out about her pregnancy. Thea is given several gifts for the baby, and she happily accepts them. Shortly after, Lisa comes in and asks to talk to her friend. When they enter her room, Emma follows them and complains about how her sister is now getting out of control with her lie. Lisa also believes it's the truth, but Thea doesn't think there's anything wrong with what she's doing. Suddenly, Emma gets angry and pulls out the fake stomach and tears it. Seeing as she's without a bump for the upcoming book launch later that day, Thea heads to the living room to see if there's anything that can fit into her dress as a baby bump, leaving everyone at the party shocked. She eventually puts a balloon inside her dress and angrily leaves for the launch. When she gets there, everything seems to be going well until Jerry shows up, saying he wants another book to be presented instead. Nick gets tired of being told what to do, and they start fighting. Thea steps in to stop them, and as she does so, the balloon in her stomach pops. Nick, Susie, and everyone present are shocked by this. She says sorry to Nick and explains why she had to do it, but he leaves angrily. When she gets home that night, she calls Nick several times, but he doesn't answer the phone. Days later, Lisa comes to check on her friend. She says everyone at work is still talking about what Thea did and that Nick has also resigned. Thea asks if he said anything before leaving, but her friend says he left without saying a word. She then asks about the sales for Susie's book, but Lisa says it has been really bad. The following day, Thea goes to Emma's school to apologize for being a bad role model to her. She also agrees to let her sister finally go to a culinary school, just like she wanted, and this makes Emma happy. Days later, Thea starts distributing copies of Susie's books to several places. She also keeps gifting a show presenter named Claire with different meals, so she can get a spot on her show to discuss the book. This works out just fine, and the presenter agrees to present the book on the show. With this, she goes to meet Susie to get her to come on the show. Even though she's unhappy to see Thea because of what she did, Susie thinks it's an amazing opportunity. However, she starts having contractions and says she won't be able to come to the show. Thea goes around to get some pregnant women to come with her to the show. She also tells Emma to help her get Nick to come, and even though he initially looks confused, he agrees. However, he doesn't arrive in time, and the producer asks Thea to stand in for him. She is eventually led to the stage with the other pregnant women. Shortly after, Nick comes in and sees her talking about how great the book is. She also mentions that Nick is responsible for bringing the book to life, and as she says he's in the audience, Claire asks him to stand up to receive some applause. He's then given a microphone to talk about the book. After saying some great things about the book, he stares at Thea and says he has learned that loving someone is a leap of faith, and if you love someone, you should forgive them for whatever they've done. Shortly after, Claire wraps up the show and Nick heads over to meet Thea on stage. As they start talking, the presenter returns to tell them that Susie's book has recorded a massive number of sales through her show's website. They both look happy with this, and Thea thanks Nick for believing in her. He then forgives her for what she did, and also says that he would love to work on another book with her. Many months later, Thea is now married to Nick, and she starts having contractions at work. Things escalate pretty fast, and Nick has to take his wife to the hospital to deliver their baby, while all co-workers look at them with amusement.